can catch the potato.
Every knot was one straight rope.
The harder to wake, the better to have.
The greater the good, the harder the blow.
I look like a serial killer. Anyway, it's like 12:15. I just took my Ambien, so if I do anything weird and, like, you know, masturbate on camera or something, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm probably not going to, because I don't think YouTube would, like, approve that unless they had a disgruntled employee who's like, approve. At least it'll be proof for 4 minutes to ruin some child's life. But I'm not going to, because I at least have a half hour until the craziness starts. Which I could be watching Law & Order, but then I would, like, pretend I was in Law & Order, and then I'd go out and solve a crime. I'd go to, like, a scene of a crime, and they'd be like, who are you? I'm like, Detective, I am Glory. And they'd be like, that's not a last name, but okay. And I'd go in and I'd be like, the butler did it. And they're like, we're in the middle of a Section 8 place. They don't have butlers. I'm like, those bitches have butlers, okay? Probably shouldn't play with scissors, because I'm going to, like, stab me and stuff in the eye. Anyway, I went to dinner the other night with some friends, and there was this child. She was the most annoying child I've had to deal with in a while. I like children. It takes me a little while to get warmed up to them, because I always feel, like, weird around them, because I'm like, hey, and they're like, hey. I'm like, did they grow a second head or something? Anyway, so our waitress comes over and we're having sushi, and she's like, do you like your sushi? And I'm like, yeah, it's really good, good, yeah. And so the waitress starts walking away, and this little girl, out of nowhere, is like, yeah, mine's good too! Like, literally to the point, I'm like, my God, you're starved for attention. So it'd be really funny. I thought it'd be really funny to, like, you know, instead of, like, abusing children, okay, this can be considered abuse, but pretend it's not, because it's just easier that way. We can, like, teach children wrong things when they're bad. Like, if you're not good, the tooth fairy will come over, and instead of, like, taking the tooth that you lost, he'll skull fuck you, and then he'll fly away. I mean, okay, so you'd have to explain to a child what that means, but come on. You know, so, like, the child's a really bad child, they'll be, like, sitting in the back seat, and, like, all of a sudden, like, blood will be coming down their mouth because they just lost a tooth because, you know, it's natural. And they'll be like, oh, this is the adult driving. Cindy, what's going on back there? Nothing! Nothing! Oh, Lord! And trying to, like, shove the tooth back up into the gum and causing more damage. It would teach them a lesson. It would. Or, like, if they're bad around Christmas, you convince them that Santa comes down, like, the chimney and will beat them over the head and body with Valencia oranges. Yeah. Telling you. You don't want to know what the Easter Bunny's going to do to them. That brought me back to a story because, okay, the sushi restaurant we went in, what we're in, was in the middle of this, video store that I used to work at. Okay, so I totally just stopped there because I thought I was going to be interrupted, but I wasn't. Anyway. So it used to be in the middle of this video store I used to work at, so it was really weird. So I was remembering this time, I was sitting at a counter, and there was this little boy, who's an annoying little kid with his mom. He used to run back and forward, but then he used to stop and, like come up to me and be like, hi, hi, hi. Like, it wasn't a cute kid where you wanted to kidnap him and move to Uruguay and change your name to, like, Habib or something like that. I don't know why I'd choose Habib. I'm pale, and that would seem racist. So I'm going to change my name to Miguel, because that seems better in Uruguay. Which their names are probably like, hey, I'm Charlie. And they're not like, hola, senor. They're like, hey, I'm Charlie. Want to come to my cocoa bean field? That was racist, Sean. Stop it. Anyway. So we'd run to Uruguay. He wasn't one of those children. He was like one of those children you just like wanted to punt across the floor. So I remember one day he like he stopped like in the middle of the aisle and he stared at me. So I grimaced at him just like this. And everywhere he moved, I moved with him. And he ran up to his mom and, like, tugged on her shirt, and he's like, Mom, the boy's following. He keeps staring at me. And she's like, no, you're not. People are going to think you're paranoid. She diagnosed her kid with paranoid schizophrenia. Now he's probably like, you know, because that was at least 5 years ago. He had to be at least 5. So he's probably 10 right now in psychiatry and probably on Zoloft or Xanax or something. All because he still swears to God, I stared at him, and I did. So if you find this little boy, like, in the future, or even now, because, you know, kids go on YouTube all around, and, you know, he's going like his mom, it's like, Mom, yes, Billy, what skull fuck me? Why is the tooth fairy gonna do that to me? Don't say that word, Billy! Turn off the computer! I do that all the time. And this is without the Zoloft. I don't even know what happens when Zoloft is on. Maybe I should put the camera on my bed all night just to make sure I don't do anything at night. I mean, not the Zoloft, the Ambien. Whatever. So, yeah. That's me. And so I thought that'd be just interesting to just to screw up a child's like sense of reality if they're bad. Just to like, you know, so they sit in fear. I mean, could you imagine the kid who sat there in fear, he lost his tooth and it's Christmas? Why he's being skull fucked by the tooth fairy? The damn Santa's beating him over that like body with Valencia oranges so he doesn't have any bruises on him. What a horrible Christmas that is. I mean, you can't even say, oh, what's your worst Christmas? Oh my god, I was beaten and skull fucked. And they're like, oh my god. I'm gonna call Child Protective Services on you. And then the parents are punished. You probably should not do this. I'm gonna put a disclaimer that you shouldn't do this actually at all. It's bad. Yeah, it's bad. If you beat your children, stop it. And that's my public service announcement.